J-Dog. It's round 9 of AFL action and it's lace out style, bringing you the review of the single greatest sport in the world. I'm your host, Chris Pepper, the 377-game superstar of the East Keilor Football Club. And you know, he's my roller girl. I'm Dirk Diggler. It's the great man, Jamie the J-Dog Wallis. How are you, big boy? And more importantly, how are you feeling with this particular mob cracking on at 4-0, the Port Adelaide Power?
Mate, I'm feeling very well. I had a great weekend. And just the hits keep coming today. Peps, I don't know if you saw just before we were on air today, I had to just quickly rewire the home theatre. Just the missus. Well, the good wife, she went and purchased a new entertainment cabinet for the home theatre. Because things had been sitting, like receivers and stuff, had been sitting on boxes, and wasn't to her aesthetic pleasing eyes. So she went and bought a new thing. That was 6 months. It was 6 months for a cabinet, and
6 months for a cabinet.
And then had to just rewire it. So thank God there was markings on the cables, what goes into where and where it all goes, and plugs it all in. Because I'd have been stuffed otherwise.
I can tell you, mate, there's 3 words that will save any marriage when it comes to waiting something so long for furniture. Hard rubbish collection. Just drive the streets, my friend. You would have been able to pick something up probably for a lot cheaper. And DIY is in right now.
I know. I'm DIY, Peps. Are you DIY?
Nah.
Terrible.
More of a KY man myself. But no, not definitely. The DIY is not my fortitude. But what is my fortitude is talking about the great game of AFL. And are we getting stuck into it tonight? We've got the ladder. The great man, our newsman, the real newsman, Jamie the J-Dog. He is going to be bringing it all the way out. What's going around the grounds? We're spinning magnets. We're splashing cash. We have got the rising star. You name it. Listener question. It is going to be one of the most chocker-blocker episodes that I have been the pleasure of putting together with the great man. So we're going to get basically straight into it. We've got an hour, but we've got to get right into it because I'll tell you what, we are bursting at the seams. Dirk Diggler style. Rightio. First of all, let's go and check. Yeah, mate. What?
First question.
Yeah.
Do you like the new ensemble? Do you like the Telstra phone call look?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Can you change my Foxtel plan while you're at it?
Can I? Yeah, I can.
No, you look like you're working a call centre job.
I know, Pep.
Call centre jobs. We used to work them. But can we get onto the footy, J-Dog? Let's get into the...
Sorry.
Listening to this, don't care really what you look like. It's what you sound like. And let's get into it right away. So let's have a look at the AFL ladder. 9 rounds down, and here we go. Well, for something different, the D's are sitting at the top. 1 game clear on 159%. Can I just say, that was the worst 74-point win I have ever watched.
Why?
It was an absolute chore. Happy with the result, but it was a chore of a game to watch. Brisbane, a clear second spot. Fremantle, Carlton rounding out the top 4, and we are a game clear. Is that the top 4 for the rest of the season? I'm not too sure. I think the top 2 are locked in. Everything else is still up for grabs. Sydney Swans are up there as 24 with St Kilda. Geez, weren't they good on the weekend, the Saints? Absolutely gorgeous in what they rolled out against the Geelong Cats. And Richmond. I'm going to say it, J-Dog. I reckon one of those 2 teams is going to miss the 8. I'm calling it now.
So Geelong are in, because I know we do this every week, so I like to just quickly not poke holes in your theories, Pets, because I don't do it. I'm not about that. I'm about supporting mates. But I like to just question and just test a bit of the fortitude of where your gut's at. So this week you're saying that St Kilda or Richmond will drop out, but Geelong will stay in.
Now, what I'm saying is that one of those teams, Geelong or Richmond, one of those teams I don't think will make finals.
But St Kilda, you're saying, are a lock.
I reckon St Kilda, if I had to put who's playing the better football out of the 3, I would have said St Kilda over the course of the season.
Okay. Geelong
are 2, like what they showed up on the weekend was shocking. And Richmond, they've got a bit of zhuzh back, but I don't know how long that can last. I still don't think Richmond will make the 8. There you go. I'm putting them on the chopping board. I still don't think Richmond will make the 8.
So Richmond make the 8.
Mate,
so
no,
you're saying there's one team only going to come into the 8 from here.
I think so. I thought it was locked in a couple of weeks ago, but I'm not too sure right now. Western Bulldogs win.
Yes.
Port Adelaide win. Collingwood and the Gold Coast Suns, which we're going to get into very shortly. Can't wait to have a chat about that. All sitting on 16 points. Hawthorn and the Crows on 12. GWS, Essendon on 8. And North and Wet Toast sitting bottom of the ladder. Wet Toast are sitting on a percentage of 49.9. Now, when Melbourne went through their season where they had 2 wins, they had 52%. So they're going worse, but West Coast have excuses. Melbourne didn't. So they're going through a lot at the moment. They don't deserve a priority pick. I'm sorry. Too bad. You spent all your cash on Tim Kelly.
What's the excuses for West Coast? COVID.
Nah, that's it. So all I'm saying, J-Dog, is that's the ladder at the moment. I reckon the top 2 are locked in. There's your top 2 for the year.
Yes,
raffle up 3 to 7, and that 8th spot is still up for grabs. All righty, my friend.
Yes.
Can we get into some spin and magnets action? Because I think we want to get through these really nicely because we've got a lot to talk about when we're going around the grounds in your style. So,
go for it.
J-Dog, let's spin some magnets, everybody. And when we go magnet spinning, there's someone that we have to go to. And yes, it is going to be Mr.
3 votes.
Let's go with some 3-vote action first and foremost. The Saints. Yes, if Milne was here, Milne would be going, how good is this? Because the Saints are playing great football. How good were they against the Cats on the weekend?
Yeah.
Gorgeous. But the person I have to point out, he's 34 years old. He has bad Achilles. He's got a receding hairline, but one thing that isn't going backwards is his ruck craft. He was BOG. His last quarter was sensational. Paddy, I left for money, but I've gone back to the state that gave it to me, Ryder. Mate, what a cracking last quarter and a cracking game you played. That tap, did you see the Billings, the backdoor job?
The back, yeah.
Oh, my God. I haven't seen that since Jason Duff Tyler in the 94 East Keeler versus Tullamarine grand final. It was gorgeous. It was actually
very good call out. I just want to remind you that Geelong haven't played a ruckman for about 10 years now. A genuine ruckman.
It wouldn't matter if he was playing Jim Steins or Jimmy Crack Corn, I don't care. The way that he just went tap and stuck it down his throat.
I've seen it before. And it was just gold. It was a highlight reel. I've seen it when Robbie Gray got a nice tap over the back from Paddy with a second to go against St Kilda and dobbed a goal from 50 out on the run.
Do you remember that? I do remember it was gold. It was gold, Jerry. It was gold. All right, so that's the first one. The second one I have to point out is, my friend, it's the Sir Doug Nichols rounds, because it goes over to the Indigenous jumpers. I say this every year. They just get better. We do it better than the NRL. We do it better than any other league in the country. How we represent these 2 rounds, I just love what they do. There was the show today, or the photo with all the Victorian clubs and all the other clubs around the state as well.
Mm-hmm.
They just look absolutely gorgeous. We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. The Demons will be known as the Naarm Football Club during these rounds, which I'm really proud to be part of the Ds. Really acknowledging the Indigenous roots. So I'm really proud of that. Yep. The third thing I'm wanting to shout and give 3 votes to is to me. Because I picked 8 out of 9 winners on the weekend. I picked 8 out of 9, tipped out. It's how you want your tips. The only one I got wrong was the emotional factor when I decided to go and pick GWS because I thought they'd left for Leon, and they didn't. So absolutely stuffed by that. But I got 8 out of 9. I picked Gold Coast. You didn't. Chicken dinner. I'm a winner.
I also picked West Coast as well, just for the shits and giggles.
Yeah, I saw that, and that just made a mockery out of the whole bloody podcast. All right. All right, let's get into the bad stuff, okay?
Haley off, Ellingworth on. Bloody winkers.
Now, everybody who's joining us on the chat, everybody who's joining us on the Facebook Live, thank you. We love you. Keep sending those messages in. We'll be responding to some of the questions coming through as we speak. Rightio. Mm-hmm. I've got to get into some drag stuff. Rightio. Okay. First and foremost, Jamie, J-Dog, you've been bagging Kenny.
Yeah.
You've won 4 in a row. Are you still bagging him out?
Tell me who we won. Who we beaten?
You can only beat who's in front of you. You've won 4 in a row, Jamie. You lost 5.
West
And then,
Coast.
do you remember what
North.
Kenny said? Do you remember what Kenny said?
St Kilda.
What did Kenny say?
Western Bulldogs with no one, with no Bontempelli.
What did Kenny say?
Actually, Western Bulldogs, without Bontempelli, Western Bulldogs would be the worst team in the AFL.
Worse than West Coast?
If there's ever a team that relies on one player, just dramatically, it's Western Bulldogs. Anyway, sorry. I don't care. I still am firm on the Kenny situation. We jumped the gun. We signed him up for 3 extras and we shouldn't have. Yeah, I'm not playing down, Peps.
Okay, cool. But I just wanted to give you a bit of a waka 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 because it wasn't good enough as well too. And one other thing that's come up from the magnificent Tommy Roker. Hey, I'll tell you what, Tommy Roker was the first one to jump into the chat this week, and I wonder why. We're talking about his Gold Coast mob. The Indigenous played 5 Indigenous boys on the weekend as well too. So just the Suns. What do you mean who?
The who played the who?
The Suns played.
Yeah.
Had 5 Indigenous players playing for them last week.
Beautiful.
Good, isn't it? Good. All righty. Now, umpire dissent, Jamie. Seriously. Could this get any worse?
Why?
All right. So I don't know if anybody watched the games on the weekend, but there were 2 decisions on Friday night. One for Jordan to go. I don't know if anyone else saw this. He actually got frustrated to the point he tried to pull himself in, and the umpire's gone 50. But then good old Bucku, I can't remember his first name, but Bucku has copped a massive push in the back. He's looked at the umpire going, where's my free kick? And then he's like, well, what's going on now? And then he's given a 50 for that, even though he should have got the free kick in the first place. But then to top it off, the best one was on Sunday. Now, Melbourne played West Coast over in Meth Toast, over in Perth. Jeremy McGovern took a mark.
Yeah.
And Christian Petrarca was standing right next to him. And as he sort of stepped forward, Petrarca put his foot across. Now, that should have been 50 to McGovern because he's crossed the mark. But Petrarca put his hands up, and the umpire's gone, play on. McGovern then sort of got tackled and handballed it and went out of bounds, and the umpire's paid deliberate. And then Petrarca's gone on the boundary and slotted it in. It was a complete farce. This whole umpiring dissent, what the hell is going on with them at the moment? They are just over-adjudicating the game, and nobody has got any idea what the hell is going on. And when the players have got no idea, the game is going to the shit. Like, seriously, it is putting your hands up is not dissent. Can you look up the word dissent? Can somebody on the chat tell me what is the definition of dissent? It's not Jamie's attitude every single week to this podcast. That is not dissent. That is first class. Tell me what dissent means, and then tell me if those actions represent that. It's poo, J-Dog. It is absolute poo.
It's 50 Cent's little cousin, dissent. I don't know. So
You're a wanker.
Wow.
Wow.
All right.
We're scraping.
Peps. I saw lots of examples on the weekend where the players just politely asked the umpires, what was that free kick paid for? Maybe manners cost nothing, Peps. Manners cost nothing. Maybe you've got to just politely ask the umpire, what was that for?
But I don't even. They did that. Hawthorn did that a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, when it was out the back. And they asked the umpire to say, hey, listen, what's going on with this decision here when they looked up? And the umpire was going, 50. Like, it's got out of control, Jamie. Like, seriously, take the numbers off the umpires. That's the first thing that they can do because no one actually cares who it is. Just take the numbers off them. They should be irrelevant.
You do care.
I don't care. I care that they're ruining the game.
When you look at the umpire list for your team and you say number 17 or something like that, you're like, oh, no.
As long as we don't get Razor. As long as we don't get Razor. That's all. And Matt Stevic. They're the 2 I can't stand. I can't stand them. Hey, another one I've got to bring up. The match review panel. Oh, the MRO.
No,
Jamie,
I knew that we were going to get in a fight about this. I knew
it. We are going to be punching on. Now, if you're not punching on about what the MRO threw out this week, you are a disgrace if you do not get fired up about this. Now, we know that Marlon Pickett got a week, and that stood. Okay, Rowbottom got a week. Sort of understandable. Now, Kyle Chandler tackles a bloke, and it was in play, hard tackle. He did have the arms pinned and concussed the bloke, okay? Not arguing about that whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Liam Ryan watches the ball go straight past him, hip and shoulders Jake Bowie to the side of the head. He goes down, which was a far worse action than what Chandler did. Chandler gets 2 weeks because the guy got a concussion, and Liam Ryan gets 1 week for nothing happening whatsoever. Now,
yeah,
it's a disgrace. The action has to be what it is. It's not about the result. That should have been at least 2-3 weeks. He ran past. It's the worst thing that you could do. Guy's got his head down and he's run through him. But it makes it even worse when my best mate at the moment, terrific Tommy Lynch, who I think is still the most overrated forward going around at the moment, regardless of what it says. He's played a couple of good weeks. He's an absolute handbag, this bloke. He threw an elbow. It was almost like a round elbow, karate style. I can't remember who he hit in the head, so you're going to have to help me out with this one. The guy goes off with a bit of a split eye, and he's come out and said, it was actually as a football action. It couldn't have been helped, so it was part of the game. Come on, J-Dog. What's going on?
Well, it's about time that Cade Chandler got rubbed out. He's been doing it for years.
He hasn't been getting a game for years, you dickhead. He couldn't get his feet. He couldn't get a game.
Yes, he was drafted in 2019.
MP cops it in the eye, splits his head. Oh, no, it's a football act. But Chris Judd did the old wow to Coxie or Pav, split his cheek open. Oh, that was a football act. It is the Toby tax coming in once again. Toby does the same thing as Danger, gets a week. Tommy Lynch, nothing happens to him. It is a joke.
No, he's been doing it for years.
Oh,
He's been doing it for years.
All right. No, it's pathetic, and that is another reason why people are disillusioned with the game. Whoever comes in as the CEO of the AFL, fix this shit up, please.
Brendan Gale.
Which is in everybody's head. All right. Last but not least.
Yes.
West Coast with your Indigenous jumper. Now, do you reckon West Coast could get any worse this year? Do you reckon they actually give a shit about 2022 anymore? Or they just chucked it in completely and they're just
Why, Peps?
Because they're recycling their Indigenous jumper from a previous year.
You look at this as the wrong way. We're talking about an election year. This is a perfect Greens initiative.
Jamie, it is shit house, Jamie.
Peps, recycle.
Oh my
You're sending the
God!
wrong message to all the kids.
It just goes to their lack of creativity. They're the most resourced club in the AFL. They've got money flowing out of their veins. They've got sponsors on a waiting list, members on a waiting list, and they couldn't get somebody to design a new jumper for them. I don't care what the excuse is. If 17 other clubs can go ahead and do it and they can't, pathetic. And that just shows their off-field is pathetic and their on-field is pathetic. And I have no sympathy whatsoever for that club at the moment. You reap what you sow, or in your case, sniff.
Peps, I think
and that's my drag.
It's only one. They
didn't even bother having an AFLW jumper.
It's in the cupboard. Just bring it out again for another game. That is sustainability, West Coast. Snaps and claps to you, the coaling sector, the mining sector over there. Sustainability.
Oh, yeah, sustainability. The mining sector. Come on.
Buzzword, Peps. Buzzword 2022.
All right, here's a buzzword for you. 3 of them. Around the grounds. It's news time. It's over to the great man. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. He's known as the J-Dog. We know him as Jamie. Let's blow this whistle and let's get around the grounds with our newsman, Jamie Wallis. Over to you.
All right. Peps, probably the biggest, a couple of stories coming. The biggest one that everyone's talking about this week is Essendon.
Hold on. Can we start this one off nicely?
Sure.
I want to start this one off with. I actually want to give them a bit of a. See the farmers fly. Down to lose. All right. So talk about us, J-Dog. I don't know if anybody's noticed if they've been living under a rock for the last few days. It all started at round 1 when they got pumped by Geelong, and it just hasn't got any better. But on the weekend, what happened, big boy?
Well, look, they got absolutely pummeled by Sydney. Dyson Heppel's 200th game. It was just a really shit example. So just to give you some stats off the top, Peps. 30 tackles. 30 tackles for a whole game of AFL. That is like one of the lowest recorded tackle numbers.
Second lowest
okay.
total ever.
Since the stats have been getting taken.
Since Tom Willis drew up the rules.
Well, and then this is the big part that sort of is it got old Lloydie fired up on the Sunday footy show.
Oh, how good was Lloydie?
It's to do with Luke Parker and Dylan Shield with a bit of the shrug of the shoulders, like he was shirking a contest. He wasn't prepared to put his body on the line, and he did it not just once, not twice, not three, but about 6 times.
You know what I can see? I can see you next time we catch up after a few beers down at East Keeler. Well, we'll go down for a game. You're crashing at my joint on the couch. And it'll get to about 9, 10 o'clock. The night the music will come on, and we'll start on the dance floor, and we'll start doing the Parker.
Well, it depends on how. Do you have Bundy cans down at the at East Keeler?
Well, mate, if you're coming, I'll just order. I'll say I've got J-Dog coming. We've got Bundy cans, and we're here to do the Parker at 10 o'clock at night. You know, he'll be down there. Nudes will be down there with us.
Peps. So the conversation this week is obviously around Dylan Shield not being respected. No one from the club is even jumping in to even run through Parker, because that is probably, as all the commentators have been saying, an ultimate show of disrespect for a player. We know Dylan Shield's got his issues. He hasn't been great now for quite a few years. Definitely not touted as the top 6 that he was taken.
Yep.
And here they go again. We're going to see it again. We're going to see, they're smiling at training. You shouldn't be smiling at training. Where does it stop? Where does it begin? Is it Rutten? Is it higher up? Is it the players that take accountability? What is going on down there?
Mate, you know what frustrates me about Essendon? I actually picked them to make the 8 this year after how they finished off last year. And I thought they had a fit team. They had their preseason wasn't bad.
You mean?
What do you mean?
They lost in the final. They got rolled in the final.
Yeah, but they made finals. You thought, here we go. And I thought they were a massive chance. And then they turned – I remember the first game of the year when they played Geelong. We were in camping that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And we put the game on. And within 20 minutes, the Essendon guys were just like – you could just see the colour drain out of their faces to say – Here we go again.
Yep.
Now – I've also mentioned previously, and I haven't made a secret of this, that, you know, from an inside word that I spoke to somebody who was part of the Essendon coaching group, that Dora, he thought Rutten would fail. He thought that he's a control freak and then he doesn't take anything on. It's either his way or the highway, and not too good on the collaborative. So you can only go by what people say.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's sort of come to fruition. Like, I don't understand how it gets that bad. Look, we've played sport, and there's people on the chat I've played footy with, worked with. It's work, play, professional, amateur. It doesn't really matter because, yes, you have the leadership, but it's actually the team that drives the culture. Okay? Now, have the standards slipped at that club? I'm not too sure. But they just look like they just don't want to try for each other. I don't know whether their game plan is too hard. A game plan is only as good as the playing group. Do this playing group think that they don't have to work hard because they're all no-names or they're all name brands? There's only really 2 people that I've seen this year so far actually give a shit. Nick Martin and Peter Wright.
And Draper.
Oh, you reckon Draper? He was woeful on the weekend. Woeful the week before.
He's still probably going to be the next captain.
Not with that haircut. Cut those sideburns.
Come on, Boomer. It's okay.
Sideburns, Mattingly. No, they've just got issues, mate. They've got issues. They need to sweep the joint out. The other thing is that their recruiting person, Andrew Dodora, how long has he got photos on somebody? Because for constantly he's been screwing them up, screwing their picks up, etc., wasting picks on Shield, Smith, etc. They haven't delivered. Smith won a best and fairest at that club and then hasn't done anything since. Shield couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Heppel's getting too old. Heppel had more touches running out to the banner than he did actually on the ground for the entire 120 minutes.
Well, that's an interesting point, Peps. Let's talk about Hep a little bit. What is it? Is it just age catching up, or is he being played out of position this year? He's not running through the centre as much as he was. Is he being played on a half forward flank a little bit too much? Like, what's?
I don't think he's bad, but they're playing him. Are they playing him half forward or half back? I think it's half back, isn't it? Can he keep up? Can he keep up with the high half forwards who are willing to work both ways? I don't see Essendon players wanting to work both ways for the ball.
Yeah,
like you watch the footage.
They were walking through the centre last week.
There was parts of that game where Sydney were just chipping it through, and there was no one around them.
Yeah,
it just looks pathetic. It looks like a team who they don't have any confidence in themselves, confidence in each other. They don't look like they care. And they've really got no reason to be up themselves. You made a final last year. Maybe that was the worst thing that happened to them. Yeah. Now, Tommy Roker reckons that Stringer is a massive out. Yeah, Stringer is a massive out, but that's one player. Like there's been teams who have had – Hawthorn had 2 weeks ago, Essendon had 5 out on the eve of the game being played, and they were able to get across Hawthorn. So you can't say that one player makes that much of a difference when 5 of them dropped out an hour or two before a game. There's something not right. The water isn't clean down there at Essendon. And there's something wrong. There has to be something wrong. And they had a footy review last year. That's the thing. They had a review. What came out of it?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Do they need to, I just said Peps before, like Dora has been trading or putting together little package deals and getting mature-ish players from clubs and trading some out. Do they need to literally just go back to the draft and build through the natural organic process of building a club again?
Well, look at who were the players that they got rid of recently. So they got rid of Fantasia, so he hasn't really set the world alight at Port. No. Saad they got rid of, and Danaher, they got a great pick for him. So they can't fault them there. The 3 guys that they picked up, which was I say this every week and I keep forgetting who they are. One of them, Harry Jones. The other guy cut his hair and is, the David and Goliath bloke. We'll have to look it up. The 3 and Nick Cox. Nick Cox is out for the rest of the year, they reckon, with a link. Liz Frank.
Yeah.
So that hasn't, but he's young, so that's okay. Perkins, Archie Perkins is the other one. He hasn't been playing too bad a ball, and Harry Jones hasn't been able to get on the field. So it just makes it sad to see that they've got the potential there. But I think at the upper end, the experience side of things, like how can someone like Zach Merritt have 1 tackle? Darcy Parish, 1 tackle on the weekend, where Callum Mills can have 13 by himself. That's 40%, 45% of what the team had for the entire game.
Yeah.
It's just not good enough, mate. It is just not good enough. They need to. Get on the Mark Field reality bus, mate.
So last year, they delisted Nick Cale, Marty Gleeson, Lockie Johnson, and David Zacharias, and they brought in Jake Kelly.
So, not going to set the world on fire.
No, but I'm wondering, is there any players in that delisting list that would have been quite handy this year? Or you'd swap one out for 1 in, 1 out?
No. Oh, at the moment, you'd probably take that 4 and bring another 4 in because they're not doing anything better. I just think I've just seen what makes teams play well together. Like if we have a look at the top 4 at the moment, all right? Melbourne, you've got Gawn, May, Ben Brown, like the older, they're playing well and leading. Tommy Mack, they're leading. The younger ones want to bring themselves up to that. It's a standard across the entire group. Brisbane, Lockie Neal, Zorko, Daniel Rich, Danaher has just got he's been reinvigorated as well too. So I've just picked out 4 names. The younger group, Berry, Lions, Rayner, just they're playing great football because they've got that leadership and they're like, well, if these guys are willing to do the hard yards, I need to work my way up there as well too. Yeah. Fremantle are another example at the moment. They've had Walters. Fife hasn't been playing, but Darcy's taken a step up. Tabernar's taken a step up. Their back line has been
taking a
playing.
step up.
Brayshaw was taking a step up. Okay,
has gone to another level.
Exactly. Hayden Young has gone to another. So they've taken the step. They've worked hard for it. Like Carlton are the perfect example. At the start of the year, if I said Essendon or Carlton who end up higher on the ladder, I would have probably have said Essendon, but no one would have seen what Carlton have done. Cripps, you've got, I forgot him, fullback, Wiedering, Curnow, Mackay. Like these guys are playing. Then you've got Walsh, Chera, Hewitt, Lewis Young. Mm-hmm. They're bringing the crop up as well too. So it's almost the top level of saying, get on my back, boys, and follow me in the battle. Like, who would you rather play for? And I'm saying it right now. You look at Max Gawn, Dyson Heppel. Who do you bleed for? Who? Cripps versus Heppel.
Yeah.
Okay. Lockie Neal versus Heppel. Like, I'm not picking on Dyson Heppel here, but I'm saying that's what a leader needs to be. You've got to throw them on your back and say, I'm going to do anything. I'll bust my ass for this team, and you've got to show it. I didn't see that from Essendon at all.
No, but you look around. If you look on their team, like on the weekend, their forward line was Guelphy, Peter Wright, and Nick Martin, and you go, okay, Peter Wright's been an absolute sensation this year for Essendon. Nick Martin has been absolutely amazing. He is definitely in rising conversation. And then you got Dylan Shield on the half forward. It's just he's not there. Problem is with Dylan Shield is that, and the half forward is a bit of a hard position to play because you're not in the guts, so you're not always getting the ball, but you're relying on being that link player between the midfield and the forward and being involved. But if you're down on confidence, where do you go? Do you run forward and play forward and try and get, kick goals, or do you put yourself in the midfield and try and be that link player? At the moment, he's sort of caught between one or neither the other.
The issue that he has is he can't kick. So you can't be
his issue. Yeah,
you can't be down back because you need to hit targets coming out of back line.
Correct.
And you can't be a link man between the forwards because you have to hit them on the tit. If you can't hit them on the tit, then we're not going to have you someone who's going to be delivering the ball in. So where does he fit? He's either got to be on the last line of defence as a defender, but I don't think he's fast enough to go with anybody. No. And is he fast enough to be a full? I just don't think there's a position on the ground for him.
Well, the backline's not too bad. You've got Laverde, Wright, Ridley, and Kelly. That's your backline. That's not a bad backline.
But Jamie, that's those players. They've been able to slot into them. He just doesn't slot in anywhere.
Well, if you're going to put him through the centre, like if he can't kick,
and he's not the only one. There's others on the list.
There's other.
But
like,
Ollie Wines, do you reckon Ollie Wines wants it? But does Ollie Wines want it? Has Ollie Wines worked on his kicking? Has Ed Langdon? Everybody who follows Melbourne, Ed Langdon was a shit kick.
Yeah.
He's worked on his kicking. Well, tell me one skill that Dylan Shield has got better in, A, as his career has progressed, or B, since he came across. Have a look over at Gold Coast, and we're getting onto those in a moment, Tommy, so don't go blowing your wad just yet, mate. But you have a look at Took and Witts.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you have to say.
Yeah, I agree. And Took Miller, he's an amazing leadership.
Boy knows he could be runner. Like the Messi, if he left at the quarter time bell, he might get back with a couple minutes left in the quarter. That's how slow he is.
Do you know what? And it's going to sound crazy. I wouldn't mind seeing Dylan Shield actually have a go in the midfield. So he's kicking. If he gets a quick snap kick out of a contest, it doesn't matter. If he's in the midfield, if he handballs it out to the outside runner, that's fine. I'd want to just see it. I want to see it for a quarter or a half a game to see if he gets his confidence up.
And you know what?
Put him at the drop of the ball around Draper.
Look, you have a look at when he was at GWS in his early years and his first couple at Essendon. Like, he was impactful. I remember there were games he just absolutely destroyed us.
He's huge. He's still a big guy.
Yeah, but I haven't seen him progress to another level like other players have. Like, Wines is the perfect example. Wines has got better as a player.
Yeah.
Okay. Petrarca's got better as a player. Oliver's got better as a player.
Yeah.
Rick Miller's got better as a player. I could go through every team and I could find one.
Midfielders who have got better.
But here's another one for you. Lockie Rayner. Not Lockie Rayner. Cam Rayner, sorry. Lockie Rayner plays for his killer. Cam Rayner. He had all the puppy fat. Look at him now. He's got better after a knee recode. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've put the work in. I just don't think he's put the work in. That's from what I'm looking at, outside looking at. Okay?
Anyway,
Hey, can we get on
Essendon guys, if we're wrong, let us know.
Let us know in the chat. Let us know on the comments. Tell us if we are wrong, if the Lace Out boys are wrong, if we're seeing something that you're not, or vice versa, let us know. We're not perfect. Trust us, we're not far from perfect, but we're perfect from afar. Hey, J-Dog, can we have a chat about this mob, please? Because I know.
I want you to talk about them, Peps.
I want to have a chat about this mob. And I don't think we've had an around the grounds where we can talk about this mob in the light that we're about to. And I actually like this song.
We are the sons of the Gold Coast sky. We are one in the red.
Come on, everybody.
We are the mighty Gold.
I reckon Tommy Roker's just doing these ones.
We play to win the flagpole.
Punch in the air, Donald Trump style.
Fight till we hold on.
Come on.
Run all the way.
Hey! Come on, everybody. We are the sons of the Gold Coast sky.
Where the team
Legit. How does Port Adelaide get called the worst song in the AFL when that
is a cracking song. That is a cracking song. I absolutely love it. Mate, this team, I don't care what anybody says. Jazz Ruboy they can't even make a final. North, I wouldn't be saying too much at the moment, Ruboy, okay? But
he's got the
I remember having a conversation when I did my season preview, and Tommy Roker said to me, Peps, Suns are going to make finals this year. Have a look at their draw. And I'm like, Tommy, son, champ, legend, buddy, no chance. But what they're serving up at the moment, and I'm only saying at the moment, they're playing exciting. They're playing hard footy, and it looks like the boys are growing into men in front of our eyes, and it is sensational. Can I go through a couple of things with you, J-Dog?
Sure.
So here's the first thing. So they are ranked number 1 for hitouts at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting their hands on the ball more than anybody else in the league at the moment. And that comes down to Jared Witts working his absolute ass off. There's a captain for you, people. Like, they're ranked number 2. So they're not just getting they're not just getting first bite of the cherry. They're second in the league for clearances. They're getting the ball extracted from the source. Miller, Anderson, Rowell, just big bodies. Alice at the moment are doing everything they possibly can to send it forward. I had to point out, if you said at the start of the year that these two guys would be making a massive difference, and what a recruiting coup it was. Marlborough Choi, I can't pronounce it, so Mr. Chol, because he is the man from the Chol Coast Suns, and Levi Casbolt, how good are they playing? Chol is the one who surprised me more than anything. He is just, when he plays, I want to watch. He's both on good, his skills are better than I actually ever thought. But then you've got, like I said, I've mentioned Collins, I've mentioned Miller, Rankin, Anderson, Rowell, Ainsworth. Davies is another one that I've noticed has come up. You've also got, I could roll through some of the names. Corbett when he's playing as well. Like, they play hard footy. They said on the footy show on the weekend that they spoke to some of the Melbourne players and they reckon the hardest game that they've played was against Gold Coast this year. So that's a testament to how hard they're hitting the footy at the moment. Mm-hmm. They've beaten 3 top 8 teams this year. So they've beaten, and that's the thing that not as surprised me more, but who they've beaten. So they've beaten, I forgot this, they beat Collingwood at the G. Sorry, I take that back. They beat Sydney in Sydney, which they have a habit of doing, the Gold Coast Cricket Ground. They've then gone and beaten Fremantle, but not beaten them, absolutely pants them at Metricon. And then they've also had another cracking win against Carlton at Metricon as well too. There's 3 top 8 teams that they've beaten.
You said Sydney there as well, didn't you?
I did say Sydney in there as well too. Now, here's the thing, right? This is the cracker about them. They've still got to play Hawthorn twice, and they've still got to play North twice.
Yeah.
So you could almost chalk that up as another 4 wins. That's going to put them if we just go the law of averages, that's going to put them 8-5. They only need to win another 5 on that. They only need to win, I reckon, another 9 games for the year to sneak into an 8th spot.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the capacity to do it. They're playing good, hard, two-way running football. Witts, like I said, is just sensational. Miller in the middle, like Tuke Miller. There's a guy who bleeds for the Swallow. Like, sometimes you forget he's getting older. He's just getting better. Like, I just love what they're bringing to the party.
Yep.
The thing, though, J-Dog, and this is how much of a change has been from one year to the next. If you have a look at their percentage, and this is the one thing, I remember Paul Roux said that you can always tell how a team is going by their percentage. Now, at the moment, their percentage, I think, if you've got it in front of you, is sitting at 92.24. So they're almost kicking and scoring exactly. Now, at the end of last year, their percentage was 76.76. Now, they've gone up close to 20% this year. That's a massive jump. I don't care what anybody says. Yep. That is a massive jump. So they've got the percentage. If they can supple those wins or losses that they had last year into wins, they could be playing finals for the first time in the franchise's history, and I would be absolutely ecstatic if they did it. Your thoughts? And Tommy Roker, Mr. Gold Coast himself, absolutely can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see the Gold. If the Gold Coast get into the finals, that's pretty great. I mean, Stuart Dew has been the most, other than Kenny probably at the start, under siege coach for probably the best part of 2 to 3 years now. So it's good to see him kick about, and only because I've got a bit of a soft spot for the Gold Coast now after the AFL documentary, whatever that one was, the AFL released 2 years ago.
Not 1 week at a time. I know the
can't remember
behind the game. Yeah, the game one, the one that they had.
Yeah, I like that. I actually thought Stewie is a top bloke.
He's a top bloke.
And I thought, well, I hope they go all right. And I mean, they're putting it on. Yes, they played Fremantle in the best conditions that the Suns probably had. Wet, rainy, humid conditions. Doesn't matter.
They win the game, mate. Both teams went through the same thing.
And they kept Freo goalless for 2 quarters.
No one's been able to do that. And Freo before that weekend had the best defence out of anybody.
Yep.
That's the other thing that you can look at. I like it. Isn't it nice to see something a little bit different at the moment? It's a good thing for football.
I think so. Although they're in a bit of a cluster there with a lot of teams on 16 points. So there's going to be a lot of teams fighting. They are.
The good old Gold Coast Roker has let us know that they've got 7 more games against the bottom 6. They've got 10 games against the current bottom 10 sides. And they only play 3 more games against the current top 8. They are in a position to pounce.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what any sports betting agency, but if you want to have, a bit of a roughie, that's the roughie I'd have a look at. They're making the 8.
They're making the 8.
I reckon they've got a massive chance. This is the best chance ever since the year that when Ablett went down with his shoulder. Outside of that season, the best chance of making final.
Yeah,
they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to do it. And there's a lot of teams around it that haven't got their full complement. They have almost got their full complement. So why wouldn't you? Holman's another one I just love watching.
And very important for a couple of players coming off contract. Isaac Rankin, if the Suns have some success, they may retain him.
It looks like the pennies dropped for him in the last couple of weeks as well, too. He realises that I don't have to have a lot of possessions. It's what I do with those possessions that count.
Yeah.
And so he's actually working up and down the ground a lot more than I've seen.
Yeah.
It's just, I just really love it. And here's the thing, and I was really happy when I heard this. Did you hear Justin Longmuir's comment after the game?
No.
If you didn't hear it, anybody, he actually said, you know what? When Gold Coast win, it's about what the opposition didn't do right.
Yeah.
And when Gold Coast lose, it's about, okay, how bad are they going at the moment? It's not right. They outplayed us. Talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about how well they went. And that's the thing that I was really happy to see another coach batting for another one as well.
Yeah.
Love it. I just love it, J-Dog. Love it.
I'm more excited now that we're talking round round 10 and Gold Coast is still travelling well, as opposed to they are good to round 5 and then they drop away. So this is great.
Yeah, it is good. It's great for the league. It's great for the Gold Coast football community up there because the Gold Coast community love a winner, and there hasn't been many winners up there for a long time. And if you put it in perspective,
Tapper could slide into the forward line just for a game or so.
Oh, geez, with Levy Kepa and Rankin, with Isaac Rankamanis, as Tommy's called him. And if we have a look at this week, how good's this Saturday? The Gold Coast Suns versus the Western Bulldogs down at Ballarat.
Yeah.
Jeez, I tell you what, if there's going to be because there were some injury concerns coming out of the doggies. Yeah, they're a massive chance down there. Massive chance. That could be my 1 week at a time, my friend. But yeah,
Ruffy.
Really looking forward to what they're going to be able to serve up when we talk about Gold Coast this week.
All right, let's keep moving through. We are way behind, so let's go through these ones here. Peps, we've done a bit of a lead up this one here, but farewell. Do you have your James Blunt music, or you've taken that off your soundboard?
Oh, no, we're here. Why is that, J-Dog? What do we got?
Well, Leon Cameron from the GWS, second coach, has now departed from the AFL coaching ranks.
Yep.
I'll let you down.
What's it been now? Coming up to 10 years, a grand final appearance, the big sound. I don't think he could have got much more out of that list, to be completely honest with you, Peps.
No.
It was probably time for a change anyway. But as a coach, he has done not a whole lot wrong with a list that hasn't been together now for probably the best part of 5 years.
Yeah, so he was there for 9 seasons, finished early. Mate, he got him 3 prelims, a grand final for the time he was there. I just think he never had all the parts of that Ferrari going at the same time.
Yep.
And that sucks because they could have been anything. If they had everybody on the park right now, yeah, I reckon. I know you're telling me to turn the music down, but geez, I love a bit of James Blunt. Yeah, it's a shame for him because he got the most out of what he had available, I reckon. And once again, I think some of those Ferraris think they actually go faster than they actually do. So, Leon Cameron, I salute you and good luck with your future endeavours because any club, I tell you what, there's 17 other clubs that would love to have you on their coaching committee right now, I reckon. So
just
much insight.
Just a quick one.
And one of the best skilled players you will ever see. Yep.
CEO said the crowd was very disappointing to see Leon Cameron for the final game. The crowd numbers are very, very low up there. So, yeah. I mean, how do you feel about that, Peps? If you're a supporter, would you be like, it is what it is? Like, it's just when your team's not travelling well and your coach is on the way out, what do you expect?
It is, mate. It's Sydney.
Yeah.
What more can you say? They only love a winner. Can I quickly throw something about the CEO? He's muted the Twilight Grand Final. He started to plant that seed. Good to see that the AFL are in touch with the common supporter because nobody wants a night or a Twilight Grand Final. We only want a day Grand Final. No, we don't. We want it played in the best conditions possible. Daylight. Simple as that. Play it in the day. Give the supporters something that they want because you're giving us absolutely nothing everywhere else, AFL. I've spoken about it and I'll keep going on about it. And if I'm wrong, you can get stuffed.
Pep, right. Some people like Mars bars, some people like Snickers.
You know what? You shouldn't eat chocolate. It's bad for you. Just like Twilight Grand Final. Hey, J-Dog, do you know what it's time for?
What is it?
Oh, it's time for a bit of this.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Dollar bills. Chicken bling bling chicken wing. All right, contracts.
Yes.
Hey, finally we had some movement on the contracts, J-Dog. What have you got for us, big fella?
Tell you what, some clubs are just going large, aren't they? James Sicily has signed a 5-year deal at probably somewhere close to $650, I reckon, around that mark. I don't really know, but that feels about right for James Sicily and how important he is to the development of that team.
next captain. Lock it in. Next captain.
Jaden Short has also signed himself a lovely little 5-year kicker.
Oh, is he a bit of a how can I say it? Would you say that he's one of the ones that you, from an outsider's perspective, I didn't realise how important he is to the Richmond brand until I've watched a little bit of the games this year. He can play forward, he can play back. He's got tricks, that guy.
What is he?
He's solid.
26 years old, 5-year deal, 31. Yeah,
Perfect.
I think he's sort of the.
I think that's a reward.
Yeah,
that's a reward. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a reward for all the hard years. Awesome stuff.
3-time best and fairest. Oh, I'm sorry.
3-time premiership player.
Played in the premiership player. Yeah, 2019, 2020. So yeah,
I think he was a best and fairest in a premiership year as well too. So
he
that
certainly was in 2020. He won the Jack Dwyer medal.
He's got
medal. Sorry.
He's got tricks. Like I said, he's an absolute gun. Who else signed a contract this week? Who got some cash?
Oh, one of your friends give you some firming of the jeans action.
Yeah.
Charlie Spargo, 3 years. Peps, 3 years. Do you not rate him?
You
were going to get rid of him about 5 years ago.
I did. A couple of years ago, probably 2019, 20. Couldn't get a game. But what that group of Neil Bullen, Pickett, Sparrow, Pickett, Neil Bullen, Sparrow, and Spargo have done, they've just worked their absolute tails off, and he's massively important. His disposal going into the forward 50 is sublime.
What are you paying him? What's the 3-year deal worth?
I reckon maybe fives. Maybe fives, I reckon.
50,
yeah, fives, 455s. For a guy for what he plays, mate, that's good cash.
I'd be paid him 800 a year.
I hope. No, we've got plenty of room in our salary cap.
And Gawn comes out. So you can't keep him.
No chance. Who else have we got? Who was that?
You do your Collingwood trick. You float your books too high. You force players out.
Yeah, well, the only two we've got left are Brayshaw, Jackson, and Oliver. They're the only three that we've got left.
Oh, is that all? All right. They're asking for those ones.
They'll get it.
Nick Martin. We just spoke about Essendon.
Yes.
Silver lining to a dreadful week.
Snaps and claps, mate. And do you know what they call him? Do you know what they call Nick Martin when he gets the ball in his hands running into the forward 50?
He's a sweet like a sugar-coated candy man.
That's what he is. What was he?
He's a sweet like a sugar-coated candy man.
Right. He is the candy man. He just sells it better than anybody in that team right now. It is magnificent to watch. Hey, right, J-Dog.
Rising Star, Peps.
No, we're about to get into the Rising Star. Who's the Rising Star for round 9, my friend?
This week, the Rising Star is Corey Durden, Carlton small forward, ex-Sandford player from Central Districts. Went a pick 37, Peps, in the 2020 draft. He had a couple of rough years at the Centrals over in Sandford. So slid, was touted as being a round 1 pick, but really slid to the back end of round 2. Maybe, what's that number, 37? Maybe it's early round 3.
Mm-hmm.
Instrumental in the win over the GWS on the weekend. 19 disposals, 2 goals, 5 score involvements in a game where Carlton solidified their top 4 spot. So super important. Well done to you,
young man,
Corey Durden.
Well done,
and he's doing the media round as I went to air tonight. I saw him on 360 talking to the boys.
Mm-hmm.
So well done to him.
Yeah, good on you, dudes. Good on you, dudes.
It's worth a couple of weeks in the nightclub getting around.
Oh, he'll get a few tickets, a few drink cards at the tunnel. That's what he wants. He'll get a few taps on the shoulder from the ladies or the guys. We don't know how it swings, but hey, we'll work on it there. Hey, J-Dog, listen to question for the week, my friend. What was some of the responses? Because I know the question was a little bit, not controversial, but it was one of those testy ones that I reckon there would have been a little bit of, you kidding me? Or no, I agree wholeheartedly. So can you just give us a recap of the question and what this week's is going to be?
Sure, it was based on Peps's. Is it
opinion.
A hatred, Peps? Is it a hatred?
It's just an opinion.
It's an opinion. Peps, you believe that Tom Lynch is the softest forward and he is not worth the money or the hype that he gets. So you said Tom Lynch. The question was simply, would you have Tom Lynch in your team? And unequivocally, there was a yes from a lot of people, Peps.
I know there was a yes from a lot of people, but there was also no's from a lot of people as well too. And you have to sort of figure out where those people who said yes, if they were Richmond supporters, of course they're going to say yes. But I think there were a few people who said no that I'm on the mark as well too. So I reckon he's going to be one of those divisive players that either people like or people don't. We respect your opinion here on Lace Out. We love our Outlaws. I just think that if I could take him over Jeremy Cameron, take Cameron any day of the week. If I could take him or
that's
Hawkins.
not fair. Of course you would take Jeremy
Take him or Hawkins. Hawkins is about 40. Still going.
I'd take Tom Lynch easy still. Still, remember, Peps, he's led Coleman.
Oh, mate.
31. He's got a 4-goal
West Coast.
He's got a 4-goal lead.
Yeah, that's okay. Just, yep.
Where's yours? Where's your highest?
Oh,
not even top 10. Not even top 10. Where's Fritchie? 19 goals.
Yeah.
Lift your game.
We share it around, unlike your mob. Hey, how's Charlie Dixon going? Oh, you're winning games. Mustn't be against top 8 teams because Charlie's not playing.
You get defensive.
I know.
Defensive.
All right, this week's listener question, buddy. What have you got?
This week, the question this week was going to be based on the AFL. No, I actually had it there. I was looking at my notes. It says looking at my notes. It's based on the AFL. AFL Twilight Grand Final, yes or no? Because I know we've got people chatting in here, but that's great. We've got our live participants, which I love, but I want to see what our Facebook group, because Peps, you are a definite no.
I'm a no, mate.
I'm a definite yes. So I want to put it Team Jamie or Team Peps.
Ooh, are we like the voice?
Sure.
All right. So are you on Team Pepper or are you on Team J-Dog?
I think
Team Pepper says no. Team J-Dog is yes to Twilight. And if you say yes or no, what's your reason behind it? Because yes or no means nothing. I need to know why.
See,
okay?
Yes means everything to me, everyone. So you can just tell me yes.
Okay. All right. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. J-Dog,
Yes.
1 week at a time, my friend. Game you're looking forward to this week.
I reckon you kind of picked my one from before. And
Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. That's not a bad. When you actually said, I'm like, oh, that's actually a tight game.
I think there's
no,
some
I've changed it. I've changed it.
Yeah.
This is a cracking, except for your game. It's actually
it's not a bad weekend
round. Carlton and Sydney is a cracker.
That's going to be a corker at Marvell. That'll get 45 there easily.
Port, I'm actually going to this game here. Port versus the Cats down at the Cattery. That's going to be a good game.
West Coast, Gold Coast will be a good one as well too. North Melbourne. I'm actually going to that. So I'm going to go to Marvell.
I'm not excited by it though. I reckon it's going to be nasty.
It'll be nasty, but I'll go.
Adelaide versus St Kilda. I mean, Adelaide, they have to redeem something because they were the toast of the town 2 rounds ago.
Yep.
And haven't they fallen? And St
Fremantle,
Kilda.
Collingwood. Yeah. St Kilda, Adelaide. That's not going to be easy.
No, but
depends on Adelaide turn up. My friend,
and obviously
James.
Dreamtime picks this week as well.
Oh yes, it is Dreamtime. Get behind it. It's the second best game of the year behind the Anzac Eve game. So and behind the grand final, which Melbourne are going to be playing in again. So what I'm going to say is that's our episode for the week. What an absolute belter! I told you, it was probably the most jam-packed episode. We'll be back tomorrow night, or I'll be back tomorrow with my tipped out. Jamie will be sending his selections through. So as soon as I get those selections, we will have that probably on Thursday when the teams come out. We'll find that works
Peps.
just a little bit better. Yeah, buddy.
We should also let people know that we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have a bit of a change up.
Oh, the timing.
Yeah.
Yes. So as of next week, we'll be changing from 8 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And you can blame my daughter for that.
And you can blame me.
And we can blame Jamie's kids for that as well too. So we're just going to blame children across the board. So it's just a small half an hour shift, but it means that we can get a little bit more raunchy as well too. So get into it. Hey, cracking show. Everybody who's online, everybody listening to this now, like I said, leave a review on iTunes, leave a review on Spotify. Tell everyone about it. I know a number of you are telling everybody about our great podcast, and we absolutely love each and every single one of you. So that's another episode of Lace Out. We'll be back this time next week. But more importantly, love your football, love your team, and J-Dog, the greatest co-host I could ever ask for. Great man, how do you want your footy?
I want it to lace out.
Sensational. I do too. Good luck to your team. Have a great weekend. We'll see you for Tipped Out this week, and we'll see you all back next week.
See you, listeners.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of Lace Out. Head over to iTunes and Spotify to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. And remember, join us every single Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, on our Facebook page with yours truly, Christopher Pepper, and the co-host with the most, Jamie Wallis, giving you your footy how you want it. Lace Out.